A source told Adam Schefter that Ben Roethlisberger reduced his pay from $14 million to $14 million from $19 million in his final year of his contract. That spread the cash payment through 2022 out, lowering the cap hit by over $15 million. That's huge. Big Ben said, quote, "It's my greatest honor to be a Pittsburgh Steeler and give my all for this organization." Now the question is, who can they surround him with? And so Big Ben and the Steelers were off to a great start last season, as you all know. They, of course, ended up with that 11-game win streak, but it got pretty ugly once they lost to Washington in Week 13. Over their last 5 games, Roethlisberger coughed up a league-high 8 picks despite facing the second lowest blitz rate in that span. There are other pieces of why that happened, but Dan Graziano, we start with you. Explain some of the details of this pay cut for Ben and exactly what it means.
So they reached a point where he said he wanted to be back. They said they wanted him back, so they spent the last week or so working on how. He was supposed to make $19 million this year. That number goes down to $14 million. And what they do is they take almost all of that, convert it to a signing bonus, and then they add 4 fake years on the end of the contract starting next year so they can spread the signing bonus out for cap purposes. End result, a cap number that was going to be right around $41 million for Ben Roethlisberger goes down to right around $26 million, so they save $15 million on this year's cap. They're going to have a cap charge for next year of at least $10 million, but they'll worry about that next year. In the meantime, they needed that room so they could put some pieces, as you mentioned, around Ben Roethlisberger. A lot of free agents, a lot of big decisions still to make for the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Yeah, and obviously Ben has the right reasons of being interested in making sure other people could get paid here. Marcus, was this the right choice for the Steelers, though, at quarterback?
Yes, it was. Listen, we all know it's with a caveat, because if we thought any of these potential trades for quarterbacks would have the Steelers involved, we'd be having a different conversation. And I'm sure the Steelers would operate different. But I don't want to go into a season with Mason Rudolph and Dwayne Haskins as my only quarterbacks. And being insulated is the key here. Remember Peyton Manning in Denver? Remember Phillip Rivers last year in Indianapolis? Not asking those guys to put the team on their back. That should be the Steelers' approach. Ben can still throw. He can still put the ball where it needs to be. Obviously, his mobility is an issue, like for most older quarterbacks. The Steelers have their work cut out for them as far as making sure Ben is insulated in this offense to where you're not asking him to do more or go beyond what he has the capacity to do. And as long as the Pittsburgh Steelers do that, then Big Ben is very capable of playing to a high enough level in order to have success with this football team.
Yeah, Dan, you hear what Marcus is saying about maybe Big Ben being insulated. You think Ben, coming off of last year, of course, he's coming off of surgery, right? You think he's still good enough to just win these games if he's asked to win them on his own?
No, not anymore, nor should he be asked to do that. So, the question becomes, what now for Pittsburgh? First of all, fix the offensive line. You know, Zach Banner, free agent. Villanueva, free agent. Pouncey retired. You have to fix the offensive line before you get to step 2. Once you do that, step 2, what's your offensive philosophy? It can't be the same as last year. You tried to ask Big Ben to carry you so much. There's got to be a rhyme and reason. Old school foundation, new age philosophy. You got to get the run game going somewhat. You've got to draft a back that's going to be an impactful back early in this draft for this offense. And then the third thing is, what is the answer at wide receiver? Okay, we saw Claypool come on, but first of all, Deontay Johnson, do you think the drops are an issue, or are those cured? And then is there any opportunity to bring Juju back? So those are the big 3 questions. Offensive line, fix it. 2, what's the offensive philosophy now that Ben's there? And 3, what are you going to do at wide receiver?
Graz, let's answer some of Dan's big questions here. What are some of those limitations for the Steelers with those free agents?
Well, it's very difficult. Obviously, they have cap issues prior to this restructure or new contract, whatever it is, for Ben Roethlisberger. So they've got to look at Juju Smith-Schuster. Are they going to be able to afford him? Depends what he's looking for. If he's looking for a big payday, they probably do go with some of those younger guys. I doubt they can bring back Bud Dupree, who was a franchise player for them this year. They still have T.J. Watt coming up for an extension here sometime within the next year, so he's going to be difficult to keep. Dan mentioned Mike Pouncey retired. Yeah. I mean, it's nice to have Ben Roethlisberger back, but you got to have somebody to snap the ball to him, or else you can't get the play started, and the offense doesn't work at all. So Pittsburgh Steelers, this is a high priority position in the history of the Pittsburgh Steelers, the position of center. Pittsburgh Steelers centers go to the Hall of Fame. They will try to fill that, but it's going to take a lot of their financial resources and energy to put that offensive line together. And I'm not sure that leaves a lot of room for the James Connors, Juju Smith-Schusters, Mike Hilton's, Bud Duprees of the world.
For sure.
The Steelers are going to be counting on contributions from a lot of young players next year.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.